Hi, today's video is called Consider the Source. Now this isn't about ketchup, this is about understanding which advice we should be listening to. When I first started my business 25 years ago, there were so many people giving me bits of advice, and often it was conflicting, and often I just didn't know which people to listen to. A lot of people told me I shouldn't have even been doing it at all, that it was a crazy thing to have done, to have left my corporate job and started my own business. And you know, I'm sure you've experienced times where everybody's got an opinion and everybody's got a thought about what you should be doing. So two thoughts around this really. I think it's so important that we recognize that most people do not have kind of bias-free advice. There's always either an agenda or an unconscious agenda, that people have their own perspective and they're going to put that on you. So here's what to think about. Number one is this advice coming from somebody who has experience of what I'm going to do? There's a lovely quote from Rumi, who was a poet who lived 700 years ago. And one of the lines go like this. He said, "When embarking upon an adventure, do not consult somebody who has never left home." And I think so many of us can fall into the trap of listening to advice from people that in a way don't have the credibility to be sharing their advice with us. They've not done what we're thinking of doing. They've not necessarily pioneered in their lives the way that we're pioneering in our life, for example. So we should always consider the source of this advice and information, and is it somebody that is credible to be giving it to us? So that's question number one to consider. And then the second area to consider is always to listen to our own inner wisdom, because the world is full of conflicting advice. It will always probably be, it's probably more full of conflicting advice now than ever with the internet. There's so many people that would have an opinion on whatever you want to put out there. So one of the things I think we also need to tune into is our own inner wisdom, our own intuition, our own guidance system that will tell us what is the right thing for us and what's actually not the right thing for us. So it's knowing what external advice we should be listening to and can be listening to and take it on board, but then also filter that through our own inner wisdom and our own inner knowledge and our own experience and our own thinking. And if that advice is good, then let's integrate that advice and use it in a way that's congruent with our own soul, if you like. So I hope that's helpful, because I've seen so many people kind of get delayed or sidetracked or distracted, or even stopped in their tracks sometimes by listening to advice that they shouldn't even be listening to in the first place, or trying to impose ideas on themselves that go against their own grain. So advice can be wonderful. Just consider the source of it, but also integrate it with your own inner wisdom and your own thinking.